So as I was preparing for this talk, I came across an article that was talking about how we are actually our own ancestors. How that we are the ancestors for future generations. We are actually our own ancestors. We are actually our own children, even if we don't give birth to children, because everything about it, if we believe in this interconnectedness of life, if we believe that there's a unity within all life and that the innermost God and the highest God is the same God, then we must understand another one of our what we believe statements. This one actually happens to be my favorite one, which really explains this idea very well. I like this one because I like the sentiment behind it, but I also like the language of it. I think it's kind of lyrical. And so it was actually the first one I memorized, which is, we believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. So if we believe this, if we know that our individual soul never ends, that it is eternal, that it is constantly evolving, that it is on an evolutionary trajectory more and more and more, and constantly rising higher and expanding out, then the soul that is within this body here today has been in the soul throughout the time. It has been a soul into the future. It is the soul that is the ancestor of myself right now. The same soul has been in existence in the past. And so it is my ancestor. It is continuing on. It is constantly ever evolving. And so it will become the ancestor of future generations. And so if I am my own ancestor, and I am the ancestor of future generations, then what I do in every single moment makes a big impact. Am I behaving in a way that is going to be beneficial to the people in the future? Am I behaving in a way that honors the ancestors of the past? Am I behaving in a way that is going to inspire others? How am I behaving as a responsible ancestor to future generations? We meet the ancestors of future generations every single moment. Because not only is this true for each one of us, but it's true for everyone, that every soul is eternal and immortal and continually expanding and moving on. And so when we meet somebody in the grocery store, we are meeting someone's ancestor. And how we behave towards them could influence how the people of the future, their prodigy, interpret life. And so are we behaving in a way that validates this idea of unity? Are we behaving in a way that is going to be detrimental to those in the future? We have a responsibility to be the best that we can be in each moment, right here and right now. We have a responsibility to the future. We are standing on great shoulders, our own ancestors from the past. We are standing on ourselves as an ancestor. And so are we continually evolving? Or are we staying stuck in the place that we're at? I know earlier this month I talked about Ernest saying that there's no power in precedent. That nothing that has happened before determines what is happening right now, unless we choose to make it so. If we choose to allow some event in the past to rule our life today, then we're missing out on the opportunity and the beauty of this particular moment. So how are we behaving to our future ancestors? When we think about that, I am the ancestor that future generations will speak of. How do I want to be remembered? How do I want to influence those future generations? I am the ancestor that future generations will speak of. Right now is this opportunity to bring our 2021 year to a close. And taking a time to reflect on what has happened over the past 12 months. To look at where we were 12 months ago and to see how we've progressed. And if we haven't progressed as far as we would have liked, then we have an opportunity, starting again, each and every moment, to change that, to allow the next year to be different than the year in the past. I think this global pandemic that we've been through has allowed some people to really become closed in on themselves. I think, part of that's out of necessity, and part of it's out of fear, and part of it's out of, I don't know what else to do. And so there's this idea of just closing in on ourselves, becoming more insular. I happen to have found this past year, for lots of different reasons, that my life has been blown up totally out of the little box that it might have been in beforehand. And I didn't think it was little back then. But my life is, I feel like I'm living large and loud now, that there is this expansion that's going on within me. And I'm very excited about it. And I can see an optimism and a hope there. As we begin to close out this year, we have an opportunity. We can look at it and use it for a launching point into the next year, or we can ignore it and pretend it didn't happen. There's a Rumi poem that speaks to this so well, and I love the poetry of Rumi, the 12th century mystic. He says, "The breezes at dawn have secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. Are you willing to cross that threshold? Are you willing to let that new light dawn within you? Or would you rather just go back to sleep? Each moment is a choice for you. Each moment is an opportunity to allow yourself to live a more expansive life, to live a life that makes you proud to be the ancestor of future generations. A life that honors the ancestors that you've been. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to allow yourself to be this expansive new idea? To let this new dawn of light come through you? Or do you want to just go back to sleep? One of my favorite quotes here is by Edwene Gaines here. She says, "Let your light shine so brightly that others before you see." I'm sorry, I got that wrong. "Let your light shine so brightly that others see God in you. And seeing God in you, they will know that God is in themselves as well. Let your light shine so brightly that others will see God in you. And that when they see God in you, they will see it in themselves as well." It is our world work. Our world work at every moment is to know spiritual truth, to interpret the situations around us through that lens of spiritual truth, and to shine as brightly as we can as an example that our future generations will be proud of. It's big work, folks. It's big work that we have to do, and it's not for the faint of heart. And I'm inviting you to join me on this journey next year as we explore living everyday wonder. Living everyday wonder. finding the extraordinary in every single moment in our lives. Finding the extraordinary in the ordinary. That is a great spiritual practice. And it is a way that will uplift our lives, uplift our planet. It is a way in which we create a world that works for everyone. And that ultimately is our goal here at Centers for Spiritual Living. Have a beautiful and blessed morning. So let's take these ideas into prayer, into our spiritual mind treatment. Our spiritual mind treatment is a form of affirmative prayer where we honor the presence of the divine. And in that sense of unity, we align ourselves with it. We speak words of truth, affirmations that are based on our principles. We give thanks and we let it go. Knowing that it's complete, we let it be. So I invite you to turn within, and with me, just taking a nice deep breath, allowing yourself to become centered in this moment. Dropping into our heart space where that presence of peace is so beautifully and tangibly felt. And I know from this place of peace that there is only one. There's only one power, one presence, one divine creative source of all, one living, loving consciousness that is moving through all life, that is manifesting itself in all creation at all times. And this one shows up in many forms, and throughout the ages it has been given many names. But I simply know it as God. And I know that God truly is all there is. And in this deep sense of knowing, I know that because God is all there is, that I must be a part of it. That indwelling presence, that innermost God that is within me, is that highest God, that perfect God, that perfect divine emanation of creation. I know it as love and light, as wisdom and clarity, as peace and joy. I know it as the fullness and the allness of every piece of creation that has ever existed and that is ever yet to be. For nothing exists outside of this one divine presence, this one loving creator. And so I speak my word in full and complete knowledge of the power and the presence of the divine manifested as all life. I know that there is a wholeness and a unity that exists within each and every one of us. I know that the same sense of unity and completeness and perfection and grace that is within me is within every single person I meet. Even if I can't see it, I know it is there. And each and every moment, I tap into that collective consciousness. And I watch how grace unfolds through the events of my life. I watch how grace unfolds in the lives of everyone I meet. This divine harmony, this perfection, this wholeness is the truth of all creation. It has been since the beginning, and it will ever be. For nothing exists outside of this one. How grateful I am to know this, how grateful I am to feel this power, feel this presence, to see it active and operating in my life and the lives of everyone I meet. For I know truly this is a universal experience. And so I release this word into the law, into that creative mind of the divine that always says yes, that never limits, that never has any lack within it. The fullness and the allness of the divine is expressing itself right here and right now. And I rest in that knowing, and I let it be. And so it is. Amen.